Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We are going to talk about XRP. And once again, this is the one-day chart. We're sitting here just above 53.5 cents. We pulled back, but the pullback was literally a penny or two. And the rise was also only a penny or two. We're really not moving on the price of XRP yet. Even our green days is a 1 to 2 cent move upward. And we're still inside that channel between 50 and 55 cents. Like we've been for over a month now. And you know, I'm not sure if we're going into Altseason or not yet. I was very excited in yesterday's video because it looks like everything's lining up perfectly for Altseason to begin. But a lot of people are saying we still need one more pullback to happen first. But I've been keeping an eye on the Bitcoin dominance chart. I'm waiting to see if we fall below 50 cents. Once we start to drop into the 40s, I think we can then say it is now Altseason. But there's so much speculation going on right now. People are thinking that XRP isn't going to have an Altseason unless the Ripple versus SEC case comes to a complete end. That is not true. We are going to have an Altseason. We got regulatory clarity for XRP. XRP is not a security in the United States. However, if Altseason was to begin, think about all the good stuff that could happen along the way, pushing the price of XRP even higher. The Ripple versus SEC case comes to an end. Then Ripple goes live with their new stablecoin. That will also be bullish for XRP. Ripple may announce an IPO, which everybody is always hyping up. I don't know how much value that would bring to XRP yet as well. But short term and long term, everything looks great for XRP. And if you're an XRP holder, I don't know why anybody worries about the price of XRP today. I'm looking beyond the price today. I'm looking for what's going to happen over the course of the next 6 months. The next 12 months may even be more incredible. And beyond that, we still don't know how high the price of XRP is going to be. You know, a lot of things are going to happen by 2025. ISO will be fully up and running by then. The Fed, I think, has until March 10th, 2025. All of these ISO cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, are going to rise in value as well. I'm going to talk more about that in today's video because I keep seeing people saying, oh, ISO, that was supposed to be huge. And look, it turned out to be nothing. Yet, we are still waiting on the value from that. Ripple to name new USD stablecoin RLUSD. I'm not a fan of that name. Ripple's latest trademark, filed May 7, 2024, hints at a stablecoin potentially being labeled RLUSD. Does this stand for Ripple Labs USD? I was more hoping for like XUSD or USDX, something in those lines. But it is what it is. Breaking news alert. SEC secretive closed meeting for Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 has been called off. Is the Ripple vs. SEC case reaching a surprising conclusion? Listen, we've seen these meetings every single month. And every single month, people hyped it up to be big for Ripple vs. SEC. And it turned out to be nothing. That case is eventually going to come to an end. It's going to happen when we all least expect it. David Schwartz in 2017, my dream scenario is Swift makes a deal with Ripple where all their banks get to use RippleNet for free, maybe even paying Swift. Fits our XRP strategy perfectly. And you know, if you look at the alternative rails like Ripple has been successful, but if you do a bit of digging, you will find they still work with Swift. So to be sure, some alternative rails have been successful, from Rapid and Ripple to Wise and Air Wallets. But if you did do a bit of digging, you find that they still work with Swift. So we know Ripple's rails are working inside the Swift rails. But what happens when it comes to BRICS? The BRICS don't want to have anything to do with Swift at all. They're trying to create their own rails. Most likely, Ripple is already tied in there as well. So I think the BRICS can be very big for RippleNet and XRP, especially because they would be using RippleNet outside of Swift. And that could be a lot of money. Look at all the countries that are getting involved with BRICS right now, ditching the US dollar. I think a lot of value is going to come from that. That could easily push us to a 3-digit XRP. Ripple partners on Swift integration list. This comes from Smoke. So you see Bank of America, Santander, Standard Chartered, Barclays, Citi, BNP Paribas, HSBC, MUFG, Unicredit. These are members that have been tied in with Ripple, some of them very early on, and those rails are still live today. The rails that I'm more interested in is the new rails that Ripple's been building out. Some of them are in Brazil, other ones are in Africa. Even Australia has some Ripple rails inside. Every single country around the world, somehow, some way, is tied to Ripple. And that's why I said, you could sit there and focus on the price of XRP right now, or you could look at the much bigger picture. Swift is working with 25 leading cash management banks and 20 corporates to develop a white label transaction tracking service for ISO messages across the entire payment chain. So it looks like Ripple now has a way that people can track their payments all the way until they become complete. The problem with Swift is this. What gives Ripple the upper hand over Swift is messaging. RippleNet is messaging plus settlement, plus on-demand liquidity provided by XRP. That's what's game-changing. But it's nice to see that Swift is actually trying to upgrade some of their infrastructure, at least anyway. But they're still never going to be able to compete with RippleNet, not going forward. And people could sit there and say, well, what about Chainlink? That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Going forward, Ripple is going to continue to steal business away from Swift, and we are going to be looking at a high-priced XRP. Take a listen to this about ISO.
So ISO 20022 is a global standard for financial information exchange. This enables interoperability between different systems, straight-through processing of payments, and rich data transfer. And it'll also foster competition because it's open and flexible. At Ripple, we've been aligned with ISO 20022 from day one. We've always recognized that this is the direction of payments and it'll be better for everyone. And we were really a first mover on that front. We've also joined the standard body to help contribute to how payments will shape in the future.
So Ripple was there from day one, and they're also a member of the standards body. And they're telling you that this is the direction that payments are going in. This is the future. And yet people still don't realize that these ISO cryptocurrencies are going to gain value from this. It is definitely going to happen. They've been warning you of this for over 3 years now. I think it's even more like 5 years now. Early on, it was just mentioned here and there, and people didn't really pay attention to it. The talk about ISO really started to pick up in 2021. Then it exploded in 2022, but it came with a lot of hype. So people were expecting that value to already have shown up. And because it hasn't, people gave up on it. But they're going to soon find out how important this actually is. Ripple's Marcus Treacher explaining how the adoption of ISO gives Ripple advantages as a company as well as ISO relation to blockchain. They're telling you it is very important and that it's needed. What do people want? They want fast, cheap, and secure. What do these ISO cryptocurrencies offer? Fast, cheap, and secure. That's why they are the future. This also comes from Smoke, short term, medium term, and long term. Few can see this is the timing of the market. Nobody knows when is what you say when you haven't done enough research. Institutions know when. And when you read their PDFs, you know when. So when you look at this, they've been telling us that everything was going to happen later this year. Later 2024 seems like it's going to be the time that things really start to pick up. And think about it, we're already in May. So if things are going to start to really pick up in the second half, we're only about maybe 6 to 8 weeks away from that happening. And that's supposed to be when everybody starts to come on board, all these big institutions. But some institutions are already here. The Bitcoin ETFs opened the door for institutions. It was a turnkey option for them. But then we found out there's no value in it. But once they become tokenized, all of a sudden, there will be value in those ETFs. You'll see them being traded all day long as a tokenized asset. The behind-the-scenes conversations they don't want you to hear. Institutional adoption of crypto is happening faster than anticipated. Take a listen to this.
I'm assuming that the audience wants to know what are the key so whats. And the key so what is that global institutional adoption is tracking much faster than you would think. If you read the press, you would think blockchain and crypto is people that have created things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're building DeFi and NFT platforms and other things. And you would believe, if you read the press, that the big asset managers don't need it and aren't involved. They are. Of the top 50, 52% of them, that's more than half, have a digital wallet or some digital custody or digital trading offering already in place. That includes every Chinese large bank, because they needed their digital wallet support to support ECNY, which the digital yuan, and so on. 42% of them can already offer you and handle digital monies, which includes CBDCs like ECNY that I just mentioned, but it also includes stablecoins, for example, a Tether or a Circle. And about a third of them are also beginning to get involved in digital assets or digital commodities, which includes the Bitcoin ETF. So the BlackRocks and the Fidelities of the world have already launched their Bitcoin spot ETFs. But there's a whole world of other people, including people with names like Goldman Sachs and Citibank and JP Morgan, who may be saying they're very anti the space, but in practice, they're very actively involved underneath the surface of the BlackRock IBITs or ETF. So again, they may be saying, I'm JP Morgan and we don't really need any of this. But the truth is JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or Citibank is actually building a business right now that's built on top of distributed ledger technology or Bitcoin or other.
So they're all building on DLT as well. And this is happening behind the scenes, a lot of it. And that's why people always say, well, look at the price. But look at the price right now. It's because this building is happening in the background. And once it starts to go live, all of a sudden, the price will catch up. And all of a sudden, you'll be looking at XRP, and it's going to be sitting at a very high price. And you're going to be wondering how it got there. What was the big announcement? And there's not going to be announcements. What's going to be actually happening is massive liquidity pools are going to be opening up all around the world. And XRP is going to be getting locked up on a daily basis. That's what I see happening. Because you're going to need those liquidity pools in between companies and banks and even governments and countries for CBDCs. So in my opinion, what I'm seeing playing out right now is all the infrastructure is getting put in place by the big institutional players. And all of a sudden, we are going to be looking at a high-priced XRP without any announcement happening. Right now, we get announcements and no price movement. Later, no announcements, but then we see price movement. And a lot of what we talked about over the past 2 years on this channel, a lot of the growth I showed you, will also lead to value in time, is what I'm saying. But you can see it coming now. And it's also being accelerated right now. Everything seems to be picking up, even CBDCs. Everything around technology is moving faster than ever. All you got to do is wait for it to happen and stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.